Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Within the Celestial clan, Yun11 was shocked. She never thought that this would actually be Huang, that youth who came from the lower realm Shahao. Her wonderful body trembled, her heart in chaos. Earlier, Yu had secretly transmitted a message, informing the clan's divine-level experts that the one he was fighting was Huang. However, the younger generation, including Yun11, were not aware of this. At this moment, the great battle ended. Huang's identity was now truly revealed. Only now did Yun11 understand. She couldn't help but tremble as she looked at the youth in front of her. Rising up in the lower realm, laughing and mischievous as he went on his journey, angering man and god alike. He previously showed the power of a devil king, yet was also berated as a rascal. He had even left sorrowfully like a hero to kill 7 deities in a final desperate effort. This youth had always acted straightforwardly, forging ahead, relying on himself to slaughter his way into the higher realms, establishing the name Huang that dazzled all eyes and startled all great sects. Yun11 was speechless, her beautiful appearance full of complex emotions. Shahao had escorted her for hundreds of thousands of li, paying the cost of blood to do so, yet he became a prisoner of the Celestial clan. Now, he was actually here, the two of them encountering each other in this type of situation. Shahao was ridiculously powerful, cutting down the Celestial clan's exceptional heavenly talent Yu, making tremendous waves rise and fall within Yunshi's mind. In the distance, Qingyi had a faint smile on her face. She wore white clothes, her beautiful hair gentle and supple, her eyes clear, appearing peaceful and otherworldly. She looked calmly at the figure on the battlefield. She knew that this youth definitely had powerful methods and wouldn't be defeated. Even if he encountered the Heaven's Mandate legend, he could still protect himself. It was because she understood this fella too well. As expected, this was the case. Junior sister Qingyi, could it be that you already knew that he was Huang? Fengwu asked. Just guessed a few things correctly. Qingyi said with a smile. What a pity he originally successfully ascended the heavenly staircase, and was about to enter my goddess academy, yet something unexpected happened. An elder was beating his chest and stamping his feet in anger, feeling incomparable regret. He understood all of the inside details. However, what could they say? He was seized by that notorious fella, so how could they hope to get this person back? What? He is Huang, the one that ascended my goddess academy's heavenly staircase. When a few students heard this, they were all shaken up. They began to reveal a dumbstruck expression. This great senior brother, many people were speechless. They had previously showed him disdain, wanting to muster large forces to suppress this dishonorable fella. How could they have known that his identity was so great? The so-called small shoddy monastery's disciple was just a cover. He truly couldn't be provoked. He passed Goddess Academy's heavenly staircase. When the cultivators of all sects heard this, another uproar was created. This place was extremely noisy. It was because Goddess Academy was too well known. Their greatest test had naturally drawn the interests of a few other sects, and they had previously learned about it in detail. Who didn't understand the difficulty of the heavenly staircase? During these endless years, no one could make it through this trial, correct? It is because he is Huang, and that is why he is so powerful. Being able to succeed is still within reason. Following their shock, they all became relieved again. It was only because this person was Huang. It was already enough. From a certain perspective, everyone acknowledged him, believing that Huang could rank at the very top of the young outstanding talents in the higher realms. In that instant, everyone looked over towards that figure. Huang and the Celestial clan were like water and fire. Everyone here knew about this. How could there be any kindness left? Right now, the Celestial clan was angered from head to toe, fury and killing intent rushing into the heavens. Just now, they didn't rashly take action and just coldly watched. When they were in a rush to take action before, that was because they worried that Yu might be defeated. Now that everything had settled, taking action sooner or later was the same. They weren't able to rescue Yu, only able to watch as he was hacked at the waist, losing the Heaven's Mandate stone. The Celestial clan's younger generation experts felt great pain inwardly, feeling incomparably furious. Still throwing mud at my body, do you all still want any face? So hypocritical. Can you even give me an example of how I've treated you all unfairly? That youth was incomparably calm. His only heavenly passage shone, enveloping him like a golden sun. His entire being was resplendent and powerful, as if he was a war immortal. You sneaked into my city of heaven, innate nature despicable, desiring my clan's supreme treasure, the flying immortal stone, and then afterwards, you'd even slandered my clan. Now, you came to Fire Province, cruelly slaughtering my clan's experts and destroying our divine minds. Your conducts and deeds anger man and God alike, devoid of all humanity. You deserve the wrath of heaven. A deity said coldly. On the mountains, there were too many cultivators from all different sects. There were figures everywhere, and they were all speaking softly. Recently, these matters had stirred up a huge hubbub of activity. Many people had heard about it. I heard that Celestial Clan was scheming against his precious techniques. This time, Huang truly was fierce, unleashing a slaughter alone, destroying Celestial Clan's divine minds. His methods are shocking. In the distance, Yun-11 lowered her head, her face red, feeling extremely uncomfortable inside. Shahao continued, the divine minds were destroyed by me. I was just collecting a bit of interest from you. However, your Celestial Clan truly is declining, called an emperor race in vain. Your so-called experts are all like dogs and chickens, and even your so-called young supreme being is so lacking, unable to take a single blow. When these words sounded, the Celestial Clan's faces fell ashen. They were simply going to explode from anger, so furious their bodies were shaking. Everyone even more so erupted into commotion. This powerful youth truly wasn't polite, daring to say anything, poking at the Celestial Clan where it hurt. Where were they even supposed to keep their faces? They were truly humiliated to no end. Moreover, it was difficult to refute any of this. It was because who didn't know about Huang stirring up chaos in Fire Province, turning the grassland upside down, making the Celestial Clan suffer great losses. Even heavenly deities were startled, hurrying over to save the scene. As for the Celestial Clan's young heroes being greatly defeated, that was even harder to retort. Everyone saw it with their own eyes just now. Right now, Huang was taking the lid off of scars. It truly was vicious, making them feel even worse than killing them. Their clan felt a severe sense of defeat, and an even greater sense of humiliation. In fact, these simple words Shahao spoke possessed even more destructive force than those battles, the destructions of the divine minds, as well as the defeat of Yu. The eyes of many people from the Celestial Clan went red, finding this difficult to endure. They wanted to go crazy and roar towards the sky. Sometimes, a few words from the mouth would be more destructive than the full-powered strike of a sect master. It would make a sect feel defeated and humiliated. Right now, many people from the Celestial Clan were trembling and clenching their fists tightly. Little monster, your mouth is full of nonsense. Slandering my clan, forget about everything else. Just from your baseless destruction of my clan's divine minds, and slaughtering my clansmen, we cannot tolerate you living another day in this world. Someone roared, Yun-11, take out your heavenly deity magical artifact and kill him. A higher level figure said to her secretly, telling her to take action. Yun-Shi's body trembled. She suddenly raised her head. This is my clan's humiliation. If someone of your generation can kill him, we can preserve a bit of face. That voice said coldly. Yun-11 was shaken. In the end, she raised her head and looked towards that youth. At the same time, Shahao sensed something as well, turning towards this direction. Yun-Shi's body trembled a few times. She looked at Huang, at the lower realm Shahao. He wasn't even 18 years old, yet he could already look down on the exceptional talents of the higher realms. Hurry up and take action, kill him. The deities in hiding said with a low voice. In the end, Yun-11 stabled her mind. She walked through the void towards that mountain peak, getting closer to Shahao. There is someone else from Celestial Clan's younger generation who is going to fight. Everyone became shocked. Things have already reached this level, but the Emperor clan of the past was still not willing to give up. Things already became like this. Everyone already firmly believed that there really weren't many people in the 3,000 province around Shahao's age that could compete against him. It was clear that Celestial Clan's heroes were not included among these people. This woman truly is beautiful, like a fairy who walked out from a painting. Many people cried out in astonishment. Yun-11 was too pretty, her skin like fine jade and her eyes like gemstones. Her figure's curves were wonderful, and as her purple clothes fluttered about, she could be called an unmatched beauty. She is Celestial Clan's pearl. She also merged with the Heaven's Mandate Stone, so her status is extremely high. Someone recognized her. Yun-Shi's skin was sparkling white and translucent. She raised her head, looking towards the other mountain peak. That youth was extremely calm, as he carried the heaven's mandate stone in his hands. Brilliant radiance filled the skies, holy radiance rushing into the heavens, making him look like a divine lord. Her emotions were complicated. They had faced each other before, fought with life and death on the line, traveled together, and now, they ended up like this. You cannot head forward anymore. Celestial clans secretly transmitted, telling her not to get any closer. It was clear that there was no way she could be Huang's opponent. Only by using the connection between the two, making the other party distracted, and then from far away, suddenly using the heavenly deity magical artifact, would she be able to deliver a fatal blow. Celestial clans' deities were warning again, and then were also going to take action. Feng Wu's eyes revealed divine radiance. She looked at the battlefield, and then at the Celestial clan. Huang is in danger. There is no way the Celestial clan will let him go. The space between Qingyi's brows shone. A streak of green flames jumped, shining brilliantly. Her snow-white clothes were not tainted by dust, and her figure was pure and otherworldly. She said softly, I don't think anything will happen. His life is quite persistent. You are going to lend him a helping hand. Feng Wu noticed the changes happening to the space between her brows, already knowing that was an ancient flame-green lunar flame, one of the world's rarest flames. In the air, Yun-11 released a sigh. Her body was graceful, her lotus feet elegantly moving. Her purple hair shone, and like clouds, they rose. Her entire being became a bit indistinct. Her black eyebrows were slightly knit, her eyes flickering with radiance as she stared at Shahao. She opened her mouth several times, parting her cherry-red lips to speak, but she always closed them again. Now that they met again, what was there to say? In the rear, the Celestial clan's deities nodded. She was still at a safe distance. This was also a type of test for Yun-11, seeing if her heart truly belonged to the clan. This place was extremely quiet. Shahao didn't say anything. Yun-Shi's expression was complicated. The past events, the laughter between them, the disputes and nagging, as well as the protection along that entire journey, all made her completely speechless when they met again. Then, she put away her melancholy, her expression calming down. Her eyes gradually became bright, releasing brilliant radiance. She resolutely moved and unfolded her palm to use the precious artifact. Chiong! A metallic sound rang through the air, shaking heaven and earth. Her palm released auspicious multicolored light. An artifact appeared, releasing divine force and extremely powerful symbols. In that instant, the atmosphere of the scene became tense. Shahao's pupils narrowed. He looked in that direction at Yun-11. All of his bone texts flourished, not good. Someone said softly, feeling that things were turning bad. There were heavenly deity fluctuations. That magical artifact was extremely special. Even without using a lot of force to activate it, it could display great might. Yun-Shi's eyes were resolute as she stared at Shahao. She raised her palm, and a pure white lotus flower appeared in her hands, releasing heaven overflowing divine radiance into the heavens. It released terrifying bone text fluctuations. She held the flower as she stood there, holy and auspicious. She pointed forward, aiming it at Shahao. Celestial clan's pearl held the magical artifact, and then she unexpectedly slaughtered over, closing in on Shahao. I'm sorry. Yun-Shi's large eyes were completely red as she spoke, staring at Shahao as she rushed over quickly. In Goddess Academy's direction, a few elders frowned. There were flames jumping around their bodies, releasing powerful auras. Should we help out this youth? This is quite troublesome. Celestial clan definitely has experts descending, and a great battle would be unavoidable then. Someone said softly. Feng Wu frowned. She felt that this youth was quite familiar. He was unexpectedly a bit similar to the fella she encountered back then on the Copper Sparrow altar. The space between Qingyi's brows shone. A streak of green divine flame shot out, and like a green moon, it moved through the sky, flickering with undying radiance. She stared at the battlefield, simultaneously watching Celestial clan's direction. Shahao sighed. They really still ended up like this. He was going to take action against her. He was going to unleash forceful attacks, as soon as she moved out 100 zhong. He didn't lack terrifying magical artifacts on him. Anyone who looked down on him would inevitably die. Yun-11 quickly rushed over. The magical artifact in her hands flashed, unexpectedly splitting the void. One could imagine just how powerful it was. Shahao was astonished. He easily avoided it. A large expanse of cracks appeared. The void was unstable. I'm sorry, in City of Heaven, I really couldn't do anything. Unileven spoke, her face carrying guilt. It seemed like she truly felt uncomfortable. Cracks extended everywhere in the void. It already erupted, disturbing everyone's divine senses. She quickly said, I will give you this heavenly deity magical artifact. You can use this to move through the void and leave. It can pierce through the void. Shahao was stunned. The blazing bone texts in his body receded, not taking action. He looked at Unileven with shock, never expecting her to say these words, hurry and go. I don't know if they are here yet, but if not, they are arriving soon. You have to use this final chance. After disturbing the void, she still used her divine senses to speak. She appeared extremely anxious and worried, also extremely careful. Who? Shahao asked. 2 heavenly deities. They went to welcome the Tao protector. With that kind of taboo existence descending, even if there is someone protecting you, it is still not enough. You have to hurry and leave. When she spoke up to hear, she raised her hand, sending the spotlessly white lotus outwards. It spun lightly, taking itself into the air and descended towards Shahao. However, there was no killing intent. Shahao's eyes became brilliant. This went completely against what he expected, because Unileven was going to take action against him, so he couldn't help but feel despair. Now, however, everything turned out to be completely different. Hurry and leave. Otherwise, you won't have any time. Unileven urged. The faces of many people from the Celestial clan fell ashen. The divine level experts were furious. They no longer thought about redeeming any face, directly taking action, slaughtering forward. Why are you not leaving yet? Unileven cried out, feeling extremely urgent. Her extremely beautiful face was full of worry. She wanted to give the heavenly deity magical artifact to Shahao again. I don't need it. Shahao shook his head. In addition, a pair of lightning divine wings appeared behind him. With a light shake, lightning radiants were released in tens of thousands. He turned into a streak of lightning, unexpectedly facing the deities. Everyone became stupefied. This youth didn't run, unexpectedly going to challenge these deities. At this point, there was no reasoning or face left. 12 of Celestial Clan's Divine Flame Realm experts immediately rushed over. All of them erupted with power, activating precious techniques. Shahao was shocked. There was a great killing weapon among them, not simple at all. Even though it wasn't at the heavenly deity level, it was still extremely terrifying. He didn't hold anything back. The heavenly river and lightning, yellow earth, and others all poured out from the pill furnace, drowning out everything in front, attacking indiscriminately. These substances carried powerful curse power. In addition, there was a pure jade vase that flickered with radiance that slaughtered forward. Then, the third divine flame realm expert was caught by Shahao's lightning speed, blasted apart alive, turning into a blast of bloody mist. This was naturally because of his magical immunity. Forget about the cultivators of the other sects, not even Celestial Clan's deities knew that his ability was this powerful and terrifying. It was because in the great battle of divine minds, the divine flame realm experts that personally experienced it were all killed, so nothing leaked out. Even though the Celestial Clan were aware of this ability, they definitely never expected it to be this shocking, the immunity so great that not even the magical force of divine flame realm experts could do anything. They knew Shahao had methods, that what he relied on was a great killing weapon. It was clear that they had made preparations, but in the end, this wasn't the case. Someone cried out miserably. Shahao's fist blasted a deity apart, causing them to explode in midair. A rain of blood scattered everywhere. Everyone began to rant and rave in fear. This still a fucking supreme expert. He was actually slaughtering divine flame realm experts. The 12 divine level experts originally surrounded and attacked Shahao, trapping him at the center, yet in the end, the distance was pulled so close, as if a mad vicious beast was pursuing them. Shahao was like a lion among wolves, his head dancing madly about and his eyes like cold lightning. He unleashed a great slaughter. Little evil creature, you dare. In the rear, 5 true deities appeared. Their faces were sinister as they roared angrily. They all slaughtered over as well. This result was difficult to accept. The other party actually slaughtered the Celestial Clan's experts like this. They had long researched thoroughly. The reason why Shahao was able to slaughter true deities was because of the thunderstorm. He brought down world-shocking heavenly lightning tribulation. However, right now, it was bright day, so there was no way he could use that type of forbidden magic. In that instant, 4 great divine flame realm experts was killed by Shahao, and then 2 true deities died with remaining grievances, their blood splashing everywhere, dead but eyes still open. This result, forget about making the blood of the celestial race boil, but even the cultivators watching from the side were driven mad. This was too inconceivable. He actually produced this type of result. The magical immunity time was up. Shahao decisively backed up, collecting all types of magical artifacts to defend himself. He descended to Supreme Being Dao Right's monastery gate. This battle result could be considered extremely glorious. It shocked all of the creatures here. How could it be like this? Many people were shocked. This youth was a monster. A moment later, a rumbling sounded from the distance. A resplendent radiance ignited, and a terrifying figure approached, making this entire heaven and earth tremble, unbridled. It was clear that the existences that arrived felt that something happened. They were incomparably furious, their voices shaking heaven and earth, heavenly deity. Many people trembled, feeling this type of pressure. Their bodies were trembling, old ancestor. The celestial clan's experts cried out loudly. They continuously suffered defeat today, so a flame had long begun to burn within their hearts. Trifling little ant, repeatedly offending my clan, today. I want to see where you will run to. Even with so much distance between them, a large hand reached down. It was even more enormous than a mountain ridge, covering the entire heaven and earth. It surrounded Supreme Being Dao Right's mountain gate. Everyone's expression turned pale. This was heavenly might. How was he supposed to defend against this? Suddenly, a large hand reached out from within Supreme Being Dao Right as well. It directly slapped outwards, and it was accompanied by a voice. Insect, you dare touch my disciple? Get lost. Everyone became stupefied. They thought they heard wrong. Who was calling the heavenly deity an insect? Something that made them tremble was still waiting to happen. After that large hand swatted out, with a hong sound, that heavenly deity's entire arm was blasted apart, disappearing from this place. In addition, an enormous sound rang through the air from the distance. An enormous figure flew outwards, and then dropped into the mountain range, crushing quite a few mountain peaks. It was clearly the body of a heavenly deity. In the distance, the mountain ridge was smashed apart. That was a heavenly deity, yet he was ferociously slapped outwards, collapsing more than 20 mountain peaks. The great earth split apart, and enormous rocks scattered the clouds. There was blood on the ground, flowing like a small river. It covered the mountain region in dark red. It was a shocking sight. Is what I'm seeing real? Someone said with a soft voice, fearing that he would anger any taboo existence. What did I just see? Heavens! A high and mighty heavenly deity that looks down on the creatures of all sects was slapped flying. Someone roared outwards, as if awakening from a dream. Everyone became stupefied, and sounds of swallowing could be heard. They felt that this was inconceivable and difficult to believe. This kind of scene, this kind of result was just too shocking. In front of the damaged monastery gate, there was only a youth standing above the ruins. His hair was long, his eyes pure. He gave off a calm and unperturbed appearance. The might of a heavenly deity couldn't be resisted. There was no way lower realm cultivators could contend against them, their bodies producing an innate fear. They couldn't help but kowtow. Only, this type of high and mighty expert had just been slapped flying by someone, moreover having an arm destroyed, Chi Daolin. Heavenly deity Mo Luo was furious, his voice resounding through all sides. It was as if thunder appeared from the heavens above, scattering the clouds in all directions. A few people cried out, covering their ears as they staggered backwards. There were even a few individuals who began to bleed from all 7 apertures, their faces extremely pale, as they stepped backwards in horror. This kind of power was just too shocking, old ancestor. The celestial clan's people cried out loudly, looking at the heavenly deity that was hurrying over. What are you being so noisy for? If you don't show any respect to this place, I'll wipe you out. An impatient voice sounded from within the small shoddy mountain gate. It was full of domineeringness and disdain. Chilliness crept down everyone's backs, feeling waves of fear. How horrifying was this? Saying he was going to slaughter a heavenly deity right from the start, moreover as if it was to be expected as a matter of course. Dao Master Chi, why are you doing this? There are no wrongs or grudges between us. The great earth trembled. An enormous heavenly deity moved, and then a few enormous rocks were unexpectedly uprooted from the ground, as if they were just grains in a basket, raised into the air. They then fell down again. Whenever he took a step outwards, the mountain stones on the ground, dead trees, and other enormous objects would be like this, blasted into midair. Meanwhile, those enormous old trees that took root on the ground would violently tremble, about to snap apart. It was as if there was an enormous earthquake. He was close. Everyone could already see him. No wrongs or grudges. Why did you run to my mountain gate then? Bullying my disciple. Are you all looking to die? Do you all want to become ashes? Chi Daolin's voice sounded so domineering it made everyone here speechless. Only, currently, this heavenly deity's state wasn't too great. Half of his body was flowing with blood, and his right arm was splitting. His purple golden armor was shattered and his blood almost reached his long hair. Heavenly deity Mo Luo shone. The void trembled. The arm bone and blood energy that exploded just now flowed in reverse, gathering together to reconstruct his arm. Then, symbol light flourished, and a thriving vitality surged, his broken arm reformed. This was the might of a heavenly deity. Even when the limbs broke, they could quickly recover, not needing a long time to recover. It was because when one reached this type of cultivation realm, they were already high above everyone, surpassing the understanding of many powerful individuals. He is just a loose cultivator, many people know this. How could he have become Tao Master Chi's disciple? Heavenly deity Mo Luo's attitude clearly became quite a bit softer. I took him in recently, is that not acceptable? Also, why do I have to give you an explanation? If you don't act respectfully, don't blame me for being ruthless. Chi Daolin berated. Tao Master Chi, do not forget that you had previously studied within my celestial clan. Mo Luo reminded, shut up. I was stealing from masters back then. Also, are you going to get lost or not? Chi Daolin spoke, not feeling that it was embarrassing at all, instead saying it in a righteous and self-confident manner. Many people were speechless, shaken up by his domineeringness, but also sighing in admiration. This Tao Master was too strange. Only a few older generation figures knew the reason. The reason Chi Daolin stole methods from those great sects was mostly out of hatred. That was why he purposely went to steal methods. Chi Daolin had previously been a certain ancient inheritances only inheritor. When that sect was jointly attacked by Immortal Palace and others, there were some great sects that threw rocks at them while they were down, and a few powers that they had good relations with treated them like they were already dead, not coming to the rescue. That was why Chi Daolin later on crazily stole from masters to strengthen himself, purposely causing chaos in a few great sects. Heavenly deity Mo Luo's face fell ashen, stopping there. This really was humiliating. Tao Master Chi didn't show them any face, acting domineering and cold, putting him in a difficult position. At the same time, he was greatly shocked inside. Back then, Chi Daolin had been surrounded and attacked by all the different sects. Even though his strength wasn't weaker than an ordinary sect master, his cultivation realm was still a bit lacking. Back then, him and Chi Daolin were both heavenly deities, but now, Chi Daolin had long surpassed him. Mo Luo felt extremely unwell inside. Mo Luo was quite a bit older than Chi Daolin, but the other party quickly rose up, becoming the lord of a region in the shortest amount of time, leaving him far behind. He found it difficult to stay calm inside. That was why he directly called out the other party's name to make himself look more intimidating. However now, he was silent. Old ancestor, half of the 6 heroes have died, and true deities as well as others died. Yu Yu has been bisected at the waist, his heaven's mandate stone in that little monster's hands. A deity from celestial clan secretly transmitted, expressing his resentment. What? Mo Luo was furious. Everything else was still tolerable, but Yu Yu being cut down, losing the priceless heaven's mandate stone was not forgivable. A middle-aged male, who had a sharp gaze, was lending an arm to an elder. The two of them were accompanied by great Tao sounds as they walked on the golden passageway that stretched several tens of thousands of li, appearing here. This type of methods shocked the cultivators of all sects. They all kept quiet out of fear, not daring to speak randomly. Tao Protector Great One. The Celestial Clan cried out loudly. They were about to cry already. They were truly oppressed miserably this time. When they saw their clan's taboo figure, it was as if they found a mountain to lean on. In the past, it was always them who oppressed others forcefully, yet today, they experienced setbacks after setbacks, and even their heavenly deity was berated, blasted out until he spat out blood. One could very well imagine how they were feeling. Brother Chi, are you declaring war against my celestial clan? The middle-aged man on the golden light path spoke. He was also a heavenly deity. In the past, he was at the same cultivation realm as Chi Daolin. Do you all dare to go to war? A calm voice sounded from within the mountain gate. Then, he added, I don't mind doing so. Everyone was shaken up. Chi Daolin was just one person, but he was going to challenge an entire clan. This was a former emperor clan we were talking about here. This place was deathly silent. That heavenly deity didn't dare to say any more, because this affected too much. If he dared to continue, then that might be a battle involving their entire clan. It would affect the history of their clan for hundreds of thousands of years. Little Chi, your temper has become greater and greater. The Tao protector of celestial clans spoke. His body was withered up. On his head was a pair of black horns that were surrounded by hazy radiance. Radiance flickered about. Another figure appeared in supreme being Tao right. Chi Daolin appeared, his golden robes fluttering about, his figure giving off an immortal feeling, as if he transcended this world. The younger generation is struggling for supremacy. It is one thing for divine flame realm experts to interfere. Chi Daolin stood there, divine splendor shining gloriously. His voice became cold. But even heavenly deities dare to come, truly a joke. However many that comes, however many I will kill. His voice was resounding, echoing through this place. Everyone's hearts were shaken, feeling a wave of fear. Chi Daolin stood above the debris, his Tao robes fluttering around in the wind. Divine splendor surged, rushing into the clouds, making the entire supreme being Tao right appear sacred, no longer desolate. Little Chi, you've grown up and become independent, saying how you are going to kill heavenly deities, and how you will wipe out an emperor race. The Tao protector said with a cold voice. He wasn't a celestial, and as for what race he was exactly, it was unknown. This was especially the case with his pair of black horns. You all already slaughtered into my monastery, yet you expect me to treat you all kindly. Why don't I pay City of Heaven a trip, and unleash a great slaughter? Chi Daolin said calmly, but no one treated his words as a joke. From this Tao master's way of doing things, he really could say these things, and he really had the power to make it happen. Tao Master Chi, don't cross the line. Our clan's Tao protector came himself to discuss with you, yet you have this kind of attitude. Do you really think my celestial clan is weak? That middle-aged heavenly deity spoke. He was extremely unordinary, his body covered in lightning. Bone texts interweaved into a set of armor that covered his body, releasing shocking fluctuations. It was as if there were flames throbbing in his eyes. However, right now, his identity was just a Tao child, in charge of supporting the Tao protector, accompanying his side. In reality, in the past, he really was a child that stayed by the Tao protector's side, only, after the passage of endless years, he already grew up, able to look down on an area, overlooking the creatures of all clans. Shahao was inwardly shaken. This elder was terrifying after all. Just his gaze alone felt like heavenly blades that hacked down. It carried roiling killing energy, definitely enough to make a mountain peak collapse. Fortunately, Chi Daolin stood right at his side, releasing strands of holy radiance from his body, surrounding the entire monastery, preventing that killing intent from getting closer. I will not. Chi Daolin directly refused. He is a disaster my clan needs to eliminate. Tao Master Chi, are you purposely opposing us? In the past, the two of you did not have that great of a connection. In the distant mountain region, heavenly deity Mo Luo stood up. He wiped off the blood flowing out from the corners of his mouth and reconnected his broken bones. He walked over from that direction, making the mountain range begin to tremble. Let me say this clearly. Huang is my supreme being Tao right's only inheritor. These words are not to be ignored, but instead transmitted to the rest of the world. All of you better listen closely. Chi Daolin shouted. At this moment, his entire body shone, and his voice swept out like a great tsunami, sweeping through the world and ringing through all places, shaking up this heavenly region. Was he informing the entire world? Everyone was shocked. In that instant, Fire Province, Goddess Province, Kuan Province, and the nearby area's creatures all sensed something. They raised their heads towards the skies. It was easy to see that from this day forth, Huang's identity would be set in stone, becoming the only inheritor of supreme being Tao right, no longer being a loose cultivator. Anyone who wished to take action against him had to reconsider the consequences first. You heavenly deity Mo Luo's expression changed. Now that they reached this stage, the atmosphere reached a standstill. They clearly couldn't change Chi Daolin's decision. Many people in this mountain range became shocked. They erupted into discussion. Everyone became shocked. He looked incredibly old, so they never expected him to be so fast that everyone's eyes immediately lost sight of him in a daze. Chi Daolin was calm and unperturbed. With a sure sound, he also appeared in the heavens, approaching outer space. Meanwhile, in the mountain region, the eyes of the celestial clan all began to burn fiercely. They stared at Shahao, killing intent pervading the air. Many people were about to take action. This was true for Mo Luo as well. His eyes flashed with a vicious glint. If he took action without regarding all else now, completely eliminating this disaster, would Chi Daolin really go mad? He exchanged a look with the other heavenly deity. They exchanged a short conversation. He is a lunatic, notorious, willing to do anything. How about this, let's seize the heavens mandate stone back first. Mo Luo said. If couldn't just do nothing. Mo Luo stared coldly at Shahao from the distance while releasing heavenly might. Even though he didn't take action, his primordial spirit shone like sharp blades, releasing a terrifying rain of light. He felt a wave of urgency. Even though he couldn't kill Shahao, he could secretly leave behind a seed within his heart. Once it took root, it would destroy his Dao heart, hindering his rise to greatness. If he was careful enough, then he might be able to conceal it from Chi Daolin. That was why he wasn't in a rush to seize the heavens mandate stone, instead deciding to carry out this vicious attack. Then, the divine radiance between his brows receded, and he secretly used a method to condense a divine will seed, preparing to display this ancient method. This method was called seed devil art. This type of method was the most secretive, difficult to detect. It was something he accidentally stumbled upon as well. However, as soon as the devil seed just began to fire out, before it even approached, Shahao sensed something. The bone texts recorded within the true primordial record flickered, quickly surfacing. Even someone as powerful as Mo Luo could only scream miserably. He couldn't take on this blow. The magical artifacts he took out were all shattered. Then, his flesh also began to crumble apart inch by inch. Blood covered the heavens. Stop! The Dao Protector shouted. Resplendent radiance surged to stop Chi Daolin. You all dare to display such a vicious attack in my territory. Simply courting death. Chi Daolin remained unmoved, still slapping downwards. Mo Luo's entire body was covered in blood, and his powerful flesh exploded, his bones shattering. It was simply impossible for him to resist the power of this enormous hand. His blood dyed the mountain regions red. In the end, there was only a primordial spirit that hadn't disappeared. Great One, save me. Mo Luo shouted loudly. He was terrified to the extreme. Chi Daolin stood in outer space, golden robes fluttering about. He had one hand behind his back, but all around him, endless mist had surged and divine radiance illuminated the world. He displayed the 8 ninth heavens art, and the 8 most powerful precious techniques he grasped were displayed at the same time, merging together, and releasing a great Dao sound so loud even the deaf could hear. Symbols filled the boundless world. Lightning rushed into the heavens, a true phoenix roared while carrying flames, a peng spread its wings, a heavenly dragon roared, stars linked up together, forming ripples. Terrifying Dao light spread into the distance. The 8 ninth heavens art was activated. It carried terrifying energy, merging several precious techniques, allowing their power to layer over each other. It produced all types of shocking scenes. If that Dao Protector knew this, he would definitely cough out blood. If he knew this before, he definitely wouldn't have brought about a disaster like this onto himself. This mountain region was dead silent. Everyone was completely stunned. Chi Daolin defeated the Dao Protector of an emperor clan. This was definitely a heaven-shocking matter. The old figures all sensed that a great change was happening. The notorious heavenly deity Chi Daolin, today, was now one of the most powerful sect masters, becoming a giant. Meanwhile, his age was far less than those others. This was a huge advantage. This place erupted with noise. Celestial clan was alarmed. That heavenly deity, and other disciples' faces, all turned white. This meant that only the old celestial could suppress Chi Daolin, or else there would be no hope at all. However, how much longer will the old celestial be alive for? Chi Daolin had white hair and beard, but his blood energy was actually at his peak. Comparatively speaking, he had just risen up, having more than enough time. He could still live for endless years. If he wanted to become young, that could be completed in an instant, turning into a robust youth. The 8 ninth heavens art is still quite lacking, not comparable to the 6 Tao reincarnations. I need to improve it, he said to himself with a frown. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.